You've probably done the math on the cruise fare. The cruise line is hoping you stop there because in 2026, the price on the booking page is only the beginning. Gratuities, drinks, Wi Fi, dining, and even cabin upgrades can keep climbing long after you thought the expensive part was over. But what most passengers never realize is that two people can book the same cruise in the same cabin, and one can still end up paying hundreds or even thousands more. So, in this video, I'm showing you 10 ways to outsmart those price hikes without using the same tire device every cruise channel repeats. We're talking hidden group rates that never appear on the cruise line's website, upgrade bids that can cost more than upgrading normally, a way to buy the cruise money itself at a discount, and yes, why some experienced cruisers refuse to prepay gratuities and would rather reward the crew members who actually looked after them. And stay until number one because that one can be used more than once and it could save you more than every other hack in this video combined. Number 10, the Lobster Arbitrage hack. Cruise lines have found a clever way to raise prices without touching the advertised fare. They take food passengers used to expect, put a dollar sign beside it, and hope everyone says, well, I'm already on holiday. Lobster premium steak and upgraded seafood are perfect examples. On some ships, one premium dish can cost $30 or more, even in the main dining room you already paid for. And that is where people get caught. They see the lobster, picture themselves eating it beside the ocean, and suddenly $30 feels reasonable. Lobster has that effect on people. Nobody becomes financially responsible while wearing a bib. Before ordering, use what I call the lobster arbitrage hack. Do not compare that $30 lobster with having no lobster. Compare it with what the same money could buy elsewhere on the ship. Check the specialty restaurants, first night offers, and cheaper lunch menus. You may find that one upgraded entree costs nearly as much as an entire specialty meal. If the dining room wants $30 for one lobster dish, but a specialty restaurant offers a full meal for $40, the extra $10 could get you an appetizer, premium main, and dessert instead of one lonely lobster that has also been hit by inflation. This works with steaks, seafood platters, and other paid upgrades too. Before ordering, check the cruise app and compare the complete price, including service charges. The cruise line wants you focused on the plate in front of you. You need to look at the whole ship. Sometimes the smartest way to beat a price increase is not skipping the treat. It is taking your money and your appetite somewhere better. Number 9, buy one internet connection, not one for every person. Cruise lines know passengers can survive rough seas, delayed ports, and buffet queues. But take away Wi-Fi for 10 minutes, and suddenly everyone is preparing a distress signal. That is why many couples automatically buy an internet package for every person in the cabin. But depending on the cruise line, the important number may be how many devices can be connected at the same time, not how many people are traveling. So instead of buying two separate plans, you may be able to buy one single device connection and take turns using it. One person checks their messages, logs out, and hands it over to the other. It is a simple money-saving system, provided neither of you starts guarding the password like it is part of the inheritance. Always check your cruise line's rules first, because some plans make device switching easy while others are more restrictive. And do not assume you need ship Wi-Fi for every day of the cruise. When you are in port, your normal mobile plan, a travel eSIM or a local SIM, may give you internet for much less. A lot of passengers pay for a full cruise package, then spend half the holiday standing on land where their phone could have connected normally. Also check whether the ship offers a cheaper social or messaging plan. If you only want to send messages, check social media, and occasionally prove to your family that you are still alive. Paying extra for full-speed streaming may be unnecessary. Before purchasing anything, ask yourself whether everybody really needs to be connected at the same time, every day, in every port. The cruise line wants to sell your entire cabin unlimited internet. You may only need one login, a little patience, and an agreement over whose turn it is. Number 8, claim the shareholder credit. Most passengers forget. Here is a cruise benefit that thousands of passengers may already qualify for without realizing it. Some of the biggest cruise companies offer onboard credit to passengers who own at least 100 shares in the company. Depending on the cruise line and length of the sailing, that credit can sometimes be worth $50, $100, or even $250 per cabin. That could cover drinks, specialty dining, Wi-Fi, or part of an excursion. And all because your investment account says you technically own a tiny piece of the cruise company. Probably not enough to steer the ship, but enough to help pay for dinner. The problem is that the credit is not normally added automatically. You usually need to apply, provide proof that you own the required shares, and submit everything before the cruise line's deadline. And cruise lines are not going to chase you down shouting, please come back and take this free onboard credit. If you do not claim it, they are perfectly happy to keep it. But there is an important warning. Do not rush out and spend thousands of dollars buying cruise shares just to receive $100 on board. Share prices can fall, eligibility rules can change, and some discounted fares may not qualify. Buying $20,000 of stock to save $100 is not a cruise hack. It is a very expensive way to get a free steak. This works best for frequent cruisers who already own the shares or were independently planning to invest. Before applying, check the current benefit, the submission deadline, and whether it can be combined with your fare or other onboard credits. Because if you already qualify, forgetting to claim it is like leaving money on the gangway while you sail away. Number 7, never place an upgrade bid until you price the upgrade normally. Cruise lines know the word upgrade makes perfectly sensible people lose all ability to do basic maths. You receive an email showing a balcony, suite, or bigger cabin, and suddenly it feels like you have been personally selected for something special. You have not. Thousands of other passengers received the same email, and the cruise line is hoping everyone starts bidding before checking what the cabin actually costs. Because the minimum bid is not always cheaper than upgrading normally. One cruiser found that changing directly to a Crown Loft suite would have cost $969, while the minimum upgrade bid worked out to $2,160 for two people. That is not an upgrade bargain. That is paying an extra $1,191 for the excitement of pressing a button. Before placing any bid, check the current public price of the better cabin, then call the cruise line or your travel agent and ask for the exact cost to upgrade directly. Also check whether changing cabins removes any onboard credit, included gratuities or other perks from your original booking. And remember, upgrade bids are usually charged for the first two passengers in the cabin, so a bid that looks like $500 may actually mean $1,000. If the bid is accepted, you may also be charged immediately with little or no ability to change your mind. So never assume the bidding system is offering you a secret discount. Sometimes the cheapest way to win an upgrade is not to bid at all. Price it normally first, compare the complete cost, and only place a bid when the numbers, not the exciting email, say it is a good deal. Number 6, discount the money used to pay for the cruise. Most passengers spend hours hunting for a cheaper cruise, then pay the final balance with full price money. But sometimes the smarter move is not discounting the cruise, it is discounting the money you used to pay for it. Certain membership programs, banks, and authorized retailers occasionally offer cruise gift cards below their face value. So you might buy $1,000 of cruise credit for $900, then use the full $1,000 toward your fare or onboard spending. You have just saved $100 without changing ships, cabins, or dates. It is basically making your money wear a sale sticker before handing it to the cruise line. You can also check your credit card or banking app for limited travel offers. Sometimes there may be cash back for spending a certain amount with a cruise company, but these deals often need to be activated before you pay. That last part matters. Finding the offer the day after paying is a wonderful way to ruin your breakfast. The warning is to use only trusted sources and read the restrictions carefully. Some gift cards only work with certain brands, cannot be used for every type of booking, or may not cover onboard charges. And never buy heavily discounted cards from strangers online. A 20% saving is not impressive when the card balance turns out to be zero. Before paying your deposit, final balance, or cruise extras, check whether legitimate discounted gift cards or card-linked offers are available. Cruise lines may refuse to lower the price, but they cannot stop you from finding a cheaper way to hand them the money. Number 5, double stack an onboard future cruise offer. Cruise lines know the best time to sell you another cruise is while you are still enjoying the current one. You are relaxed, slightly sunburnt, and already pretending the credit card bill does not exist. So they invite you to the future cruise desk with reduced deposits, onboard credit, and special booking bonuses. Sometimes those offers are genuinely worthwhile, but the clever move is not stopping there. Depending on the cruise line and booking rules, you may be able to secure the onboard offer, then transfer that same reservation to a travel agent who has a lower group rate, additional onboard credit, or other perks. That means you could keep the future cruise incentive and stack something extra on top of it. It is the cruise booking version of using 2 coupons without the cashier calling a manager. But do not assume every offer can be combined. Before booking, ask whether the exact fare, deposit, onboard credit, and cabin can be transferred without losing anything. Then get the answer in writing, because the person at the desk said it would be fine becomes surprisingly unhelpful once you're back home. Also compare the onboard price with an outside quote before committing. The future cruise desk may offer attractive credit while charging more for the cabin itself. Receiving $200 in onboard credit is not a bargain if the cruise costs $800 more. So arrive prepared, check the complete price, and ask whether the booking can be transferred to an agent with group inventory or extra benefits. The onboard offer may be good. The real secret is finding out whether you can make it even better. Number 4, lock the extras that are increasing, but keep the cabin flexible. Now let's deal with the words on the thumbnail. Don't pay gratuities, or more accurately, do not prepay them automatically before checking whether it is actually the smartest move for your booking. A lot of passengers add prepaid gratuities because the cruise line puts the option directly in front of them and makes it feel like one more box that must be ticked before they are allowed near the buffet. But you usually have more than one choice. Some cruisers prefer not to prepay because they want to wait until the trip is over and personally reward the crew members who were helpful, friendly, and genuinely made their holiday better. They like knowing exactly who received the money instead of sending it into a large tipping pool and hoping it reaches the right people. And I understand that. If your cabin steward remembers your name, solves 3 problems, and somehow produces fresh towels every time you blink, you may want to hand that person the tip yourself. But there is another side to it. Automatic gratuities may also be shared with dining staff, kitchen workers, and other crew members working behind the scenes. So, removing the charge and tipping only the people you see can mean some hardworking crew members miss out. The smartest approach is not blindly paying or blindly removing it. It is checking how your cruise line handles gratuities, whether they are already included in your fare, and whether you are allowed to adjust them on board. There is also one time when prepaying can save you money. If the cruise line announces that daily gratuities are increasing, passengers may sometimes be allowed to prepay before the cutoff and lock in the older rate. So if you were planning to pay the automatic gratuities anyway, paying early could protect you from the increase that is very different from adding them months in advance simply because the booking page asked nicely. And this strategy applies to more than tips. When a confirmed increase is coming for drinks packages, soda, dining, or Wi Fi, consider locking in that specific extra while the lower price is still available. But do not rush to pay the entire cruise in full unless you need to. Paying everything early can reduce your flexibility if the cabin price later drops or you find a better group fare. So lock in the charge. That is definitely increasing, but keep the rest of the booking flexible enough to take advantage of a better deal. The cruise line would love you to pay everything today and stop looking. Your job is to pay only what helps you today and keep watching everything else. Number 3, ignore 40% off. Record the actual checkout price. Cruise lines love percentages. 30% off, 40% off. Biggest sale of the year. Apparently, every week is the biggest sale of the year. But the percentage means very little if the starting price keeps changing. A drinks package advertised at 40% off today can still cost more than it did last month when it was only 30% off. That is because the cruise line controls both numbers, the discount and the price they are discounting. So stop tracking the sale percentage and start tracking the final checkout price. Whenever you look at drinks, Wi Fi, dining, excursions, or private island activities, take a screenshot of the complete total, including any service charges added at checkout. That screenshot becomes your real price history. Then keep checking the cruise planner. If the total drops and your cruise line allows cancellations, cancel the original purchase and buy it again at the lower price. One cruiser reportedly saved $300 across 3 drinks packages simply by canceling and repurchasing after the actual price fell. That is real money, not a colorful banner shouting limited time offer for the 7th limited time this month. Just make sure the cheaper option is genuinely identical. Check the package, dates, number of guests, and anything included before canceling the original. And do not wait too long for the refund if you need enough room on your credit card to make the new purchase. Depending on the cruise line and your bank, the old payment may not return immediately. The safest approach is to buy at a price you're comfortable with, then keep watching for something better. That way, you have secured the package if prices rise, but you can still take advantage if they fall. The cruise line wants you watching the discount. Experienced cruisers watch the dollars. And coming up next, the cheaper cabin price you're looking for may exist, but it may be hidden from the cruise line's own website. Number 2, secure the cabin direct, then move it into private group inventory. Here is something cruise lines rarely explain clearly. The price you see on their website may not be the lowest price available for that exact sailing. Large travel agencies sometimes reserve blocks of cabins early before prices rise. Those cabins can sit inside private group inventory at an older rate, even while the public price keeps climbing. And no, you do not need matching t-shirts, a tour leader, or 40 relatives named Barry to use a group rate. In many cases, you can book one cabin from that group inventory just like any normal passenger. The problem is that the cabin you want may disappear while you're waiting for travel agents to send quotes. So the smarter move can be to secure the exact cabin directly with the cruise line first, then immediately ask agents whether they hold group space on that same ship and date. Do not just ask, can you beat this price? Ask, The more important question: do you have private group inventory on this sailing? That wording matters because an agent may simply quote you the same public promotion you already found, add $50 of onboard credit, and present it like they have performed open heart surgery on your booking. A genuine group rate may offer a lower fare, extra onboard credit, or better deposit terms because the agency reserved the cabin before the public price increased. If you find a better deal, some cruise lines allow an eligible direct booking to be transferred to the travel agent within a limited period. That means you may be able to keep the cabin you already secured while moving the reservation into the better agency deal instead of canceling and hoping the cabin returns. Because canceling a good cabin to save money is risky. The cruise line website can take that cabin back faster than a buffet passenger spotting the last slice of cheesecake. Before transferring anything, confirm that the cabin price, deposit, onboard credit, and original perks will all remain intact. Get it in writing. A cheerful phone promise is lovely, but it will not pay for the drinks package when the booking suddenly loses $300 of credit. So remember, the cruise line's website shows you its public price. It does not necessarily show you every price available. Secure the cabin you want, ask specifically about private group inventory, and only transfer it when the complete deal is genuinely better. Because sometimes the secret discount is not hidden behind a sale, it is hidden inside somebody else's block of cabins. And number one is even more powerful because you can use it repeatedly after the booking is already made. Number one, use the final payment price ratchet. Most passengers make one expensive mistake after booking. They stop checking the price. They assume the fare is locked, the deal is done, and there is nothing else to see. That is exactly what the cruise line is hoping for. Because if your cabin price drops by $500 and you never notice, they are not going to phone and say, "Good news, we would like to give some money back." Before final payment, keep checking the exact same sailing cabin category and number of passengers. If the price falls, contact the cruise line or your travel agent and ask whether the booking can be repriced. Then keep checking. A cruiser can sometimes reprice more than once before the deadline, which is why I call this the final payment price ratchet. Every genuine drop gives you another chance to pull the price lower, but never compare the fare alone. A $400 reduction is useless if the new promotion removes $500 in onboard credit, including gratuities or other benefits. Compare the complete value of the old booking with the complete value of the new one. And check the deposit and cancellation rules before changing anything because some fares are far less flexible than others. The cruise line wants you to book once and disappear. Do not disappear.